What's good, Commanders fans? So camp day 12, I think I want to say. Big news out of Ashburn or wherever Commanders training camp is right now is that Ron Rivera has decided to fire Sam Mills. Sam Mills, they have ties back in Carolina, of course. You know, Sam Mills' dad was just inducted into the Hall of Fame on Saturday, and Sam Mills comes back Monday or Tuesday and gets fired. So and they've been bringing in Warren Sapp. Ryan Kerrigan, they've had him as watching practice to see if he wants to be a part of the coaching staff. Who knows if they get promoted to defensive line coach? But right now they promoted the guy's name is Jeff Zonina. He played in the NFL as well. He played 17. He played for 7 teams across 17 seasons in the NFL. So he retired in the 2009 season. So the guy Jeff Zonina, he will be stepping in and being the interim defensive line head coach. But Sam Mills, there's just been a rift and a disconnect between the players. There's been a lot of reports, rumors, and reports saying that. You see the fight on the sideline. I don't know if that's connected to Sam Mills at all with John Allen and Ron Payne. But Matt Ioannidis, you remember you hearing about him not getting along with Sam Mills, some of the technique that they were trying to tell them when they first came in with Ron Rivera in 2020. So, and then, Sam Mills showing them Ryan Kerrigan film. There was a lot of people upset about that. We're having opinions about that too. So, it's the timing is weird, but the players didn't get along. If that's what people are saying, they didn't get along. There was a disconnect there, and it's too much talent for them to not reach their full potential. Chase Young regressed last year. Montez Sweat did regress. A lot of the defensive line regressed, except for really John Allen for the most part. They didn't play together as a unit. You listen to Warren Sapp talk, he was like, they need to play together as a unit. They're like bowling balls and butcher knives. So maybe they just needed to hear a different voice in there, somebody they could connect with. I don't know what the disconnect was, but Ron Rivera, he made a statement. A difference of opinions is what Ron Rivera said. And he said it was difficult. It was a difficult thing to do because he's has a lot of history with Sam Mills' family there. So I'll just leave it at that. It's on the players now. They can't use any excuses on coaches or disconnects or anything like that. They just got to step up. Of course, John Allen, his quote, he said he wasn't too happy about the firing. That's what he said. John Allen's always a stand-up guy. He said, at the end of the day, it's sad. That's what he said. I think me and Coach Sam were getting along really well. We were really making some progress as a defensive unit. It's the NFL. People just got to remember it's a great time, a great game, but a terrible business. So that's what it is, man. It's business is business. Players weren't playing up to expectations, and that's what happened. So, is he a scapegoat? I don't know. We'll see. If they come out the gate and Trevor Lawrence, converts on third down every time like they let up last year, maybe Chris Harris could be a scapegoat or something like that. Jack Del Rio, we'll see if his days are numbered. If they start off slow against some of the teams that they really should be, like the Jags and the Lions and whatnot, then you start looking at Jack Del Rio and some other coaches as well. So that, we'll see how this season goes. But that's it with Sam Mills right there. So hopefully Zagona or Jeff Zagona can come in and be a better D-line coach. But Warren Sapp, I don't see him coming and being the D-line coach. And Ryan Kerrigan, we'll see. I feel like he wants to really coach. I get the sense just, him being there every day. I feel like he does want to coach for real. So, all right, let's get to the play-by-play right here. And then I won't keep you guys too long today. JP Finley tweeted Warren Sapp was back at Commanders practice. JP Finley also says no Cole Turner today. He has not practiced since his leg got rolled up last week. Let's see if Cole Turner plays on Saturday against Carolina. I really want to see him play. I really do. But I don't want to rush him back, though, at the same time. John Collins says Curtis Samuel working off to the side field as expected today. De'Ami Brown working today. Quarterback William Jackson was practicing. Tight end John Bates practicing as well. Good to see him back. Tight end Curtis Hodges also practicing. Good to see him back as well. Cole Turner on the side field. James Smith-Williams was back practicing, back at practice with the starting 11 unit on defense. So Zach Selby, play-by-play here. Big hole on the right for Brian Robinson to slip through during 11-on-11. Nice block by Cosme and William Bradley in WBK to create the running room. On William Bradley King to create the running room. So Sam Cosme making plays there. Pedro Smith, who was at training camp, he said that Brian Robinson ran with the ones and that Antonio Gibson was running with the twos. They were interchanging, but Real Robinson also said that Brian Robinson got a lot of carries with the ones. And I told you guys, when I went to the open practice, man, Brian Robinson, he looked like to me, he looked like the best player out there offensively that day. It was between him. Mark and Michelle had a big catch. Jahan looked good too. Curtis Samuel looked good too, though, to be honest. Terry McLaurin looked good too. But Brian Robinson, he really caught my eye. He really did on Saturday night. Zach Selby also said Jared Patterson just thumped Steven Parker after a solid game to finish the play. It's the second time he's gotten to the second level. So I'm excited to see Jared Patterson out there on Saturday as well against the Panthers, man, because he had a really good preseason. I don't know if he's going to make the roster, but the guy can play. He can play. He can catch. He can run. He can return punts too. So I'm excited to see what he can do on Saturday. Zach Selby says, we're moving on to 7-on-7. Thought the running game looked really crisp in the last period with big runs coming from Brian Robinson, Jared Patterson, and Antonio Gibson. So all three running backs look good out there. You know, J.D. McKissick probably looked good too. He didn't name him. Zach Selby says, Dax Milne just made a really nice leaping grab during 7-on-7. The former 7th rounder continues to impress me. So I talked about this yesterday. Dax Milne has had an impressive camp. You know, it's between him, Alex Erickson, and Marcus Michelle for that last spot since they cut Jaquez Ezzard. So and then I won't leave out Kyrick McGowan too. He had a nice catch today as well. So Dax Milne's been playing well, man. He's been playing well. Can he punt return? Can he kick return? Zach Selby says Armani Rogers was wide open down the middle of the field and brought in the catch. Really starting to like what I'm seeing from the tight end. So Armani Rogers is making plays. He made a nice catch on Saturday night too. He has an opportunity to step up with, you know, Logan Thomas being out and some of the other tight ends being in and out of the lineup recently. So he has a chance to, you know, I don't know about making the roster, but we'll see what he does on Saturday too. Ben Sanders says Carson Wentz on target today. Great sideline throw to Terry McLaurin. Then the perfect deep shot to Kyrick McGowan in 7-on-7. So Kyrick McGowan, he does make plays. He's a deep threat, man. He can run, man. He's got some jets on him. He's pretty shifty. He can make a guy missing a phone booth from what I've seen from Kyrick McGowan. And then, of course, you know, there's been talks and rumblings about Terry McLaurin and Carson Wentz. Their chemistry so far hasn't been on. You know, they've only practiced together for a couple of weeks, so it takes time. But they definitely need to get on the same page for sure. And they got some time to do that. So I'm happy to hear that, you know, they had a nice, you know, Carson was connected with Terry McLaurin there. Ethan Cadu says, Carson Wentz just found tight end Armani Rogers down the seam for a nice gain during 7-on-7. Next play, Carson Wentz hits Kyrick McGowan 30 yards down the right sideline. Then he completed a dart to Alex Erickson in traffic. 3 nice plays in a row for number 11. So Carson Wentz has been accurate today. So a lot of rumblings, you know, reporters talking about he's been so inaccurate here. So it's good to see that Carson Wentz is getting the accuracy down. So, you know, he's got a couple weeks before, you know, the games to get this together. So Jack Selby says Carson Wentz just finished his 7-on-7 reps going 6 for 6, saw some really nice passes to Dax Milne and an impressive sideline connection to Terry. I know it's just 7-on-7, but for what it's worth, that was the most impressed I've been with the passing game all camp. Scott Abraham says Carson Wentz just dropped a beautiful deep ball to Kyrick McGowan. So basically talking about the same play. Zach Selby says punt return update, 3 players catching kicks today: Alex Erickson, Trey McGowan, and Dax Milne. So those were your punt returns today. So we'll see how that goes on Saturday, during Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Ethan Cadu says Carson Wentz just threw a beautiful touchdown pass to Dax Milne. Dax Milne sighting again, 25 yards. Dax Milne beat Corn Elder on a post corner route. So Dax Milne making plays, man. He's really making plays. He could be a good depth piece at that slot position. Zach Selby says Carson Wentz during 2-minute drills. He was 4 for 6, had a fumble, and Wentz recovered his own fumble. The drive ended with a really nice touchdown to Dax Milne, which Ethan Cadell just talked about the same play. Zach Selby said that's it for 2-minute drills. Period ends with an interception by Jeremy Reeves from Taylor Heineke. So Taylor Heineke throws a pick. Good to hear from Jeremy Reeves, though, man. Can he make the roster? We'll see. But he made the practice squad last year. He always finds a way to get on the roster towards the end of the year and contribute in some way. 2020 had a really good game against the Cowboys, had a really good game against the Eagles. He is quick out there. Sometimes he's just a little too small and gets big boyed and big body. I remember Dallas Goedert kind of big boyed him in that Eagles game in the first game at Philly, where it was the health. A lot of guys were out with health and safety protocols. So that's the only knock really on Jeremy Reeves right now. He did get burnt in the playoffs a couple times too against the Buccaneers, but other than that, he's been a solid, you know, rotational backup safety. Ethan Cadu says the Carson Wentz Terry McLaurin connection looks a lot better today. Terry just made a sliding grab during 11s. It should only improve the more reps they get together. I love hearing that. Love to see it. Ethan Cadu says red zone work. Wentz just hit Jahan Dotson on a fade in the back right corner of the end zone. Jahan Dotson caught it but didn't get both feet down. Defensive sideline all signal incomplete. Still one heck of an effort. So Jahan Dotson almost got it there. Zach Selby says Armani Rogers grabbed a touchdown during goal line drills. Another impressive grab for the tight end trying to earn a spot. So Armani Rogers making big noise out there, man. Zach Selby says Carson Wentz rolls out and gets into the end zone. Hodges had a really nice block on Kendall Fuller to clear the way. So Carson Wentz still shows off some of the athleticism that he has there. He can run. You know, he doesn't do it a lot anymore, you know, after tearing his ACL and some back injuries, but he can run, man. He can use his legs, and he is still mobile. Scott Abraham says, wow, what a catch by Jahan Dotson on the deep ball from Carson Wentz. So Scott Abraham, sometimes he can be a little negative, the ABC7 guy, news guy. But this time he said all positivity in his tweet. So he tweeted out positive stuff. Pedro said Dax Mills is 100% making this team, making catch after catch. So Pedro's giving Dax Mills some credit here. So I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. I originally have Alex Erickson over Dax Mills, but we'll see. I just want to see some games first. I want to see the lights come on, and I want to see what Dax does when the lights come on. Matthew Paris says Montez Sweat continues to have a really strong camp. On a 4th and 10, he forced a strip on Carson Wentz. Feels like he gets back there consistently. So I'm intrigued to see. I'm intrigued to see the whole D line, especially with a new coach, a D line coach. Let's see how that affects the team. Ethan Cadell says Sam Mills III was on Ron Rivera's staff from 2011 to 2019 in Carolina. In all 3 of Rivera's years in Washington, they had been together for 11 plus years prior to today. Rivera said his relationship with Mills and his family made the decision very difficult. Percy Butler citing here, Matthew Paris says Percy Butler went unblocked off the edge, forcing Taylor Heineke to speed his throw that landed right in Jeremy Reeves' arm for the interception. That's the first pick for the defense in a few days. So, so that's Percy Butler making plays there, man. They're looking for, I always say that Buffalo nickel. I know you guys are tired of hearing the word, and if you got $1 every time you hear it, that's what they're looking for from Percy Butler. They're coming off the edge, making plays, providing some pressure on quarterbacks. So last one here, Matthew Paris says Jahan Dotson doesn't create a lot of separation, but man, that dude can catch the ball. Hall went in deep down the sideline crowd, and the crowd here with a big reaction. So he says Jahan Dotson doesn't create a lot of separation, which I've definitely seen him. I haven't been to practice much, but he did create separation at Penn State. The concern that they're saying is that they don't jam the receivers in practice. And I know the knock on Jahan is, press man coverage. He's really good against zone, finding the spots, the easy open spots in the zone. But can he get open against, physicality? That's the question mark for him. So let's see if Carolina does that. Let's say if their DBs press up and press him and, jam him at the line. Let's see how he does against that. So that's what I'm intrigued to see from Jahan Dotson if he does play on Saturday. I don't know if they're going to give him the Terry McLaurin treatment where he didn't play at all in preseason, but that's what I want to see. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think about the firing of Sam Mills. Do you think there's any chance they hire Ryan Kerrigan or somewhat Warren Sapp? I know Roquan Smith, the Bears linebacker, requested a trade. I don't see that happening at all. I don't. Ron would rather sign A.J. Klein than trade for Roquan Smith. I think that's how we know it goes. But, Healthy Commanders, peace.